Hello and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph,
I'm Sadie.
and today we're doing Saw 3, which is Sadie's favorite.
One of them, but yes, my ultimate favorite Saw movie. Absolutely.
Okay, I can see why. I'm not like a Saw fan per se, but like I don't know that I've ever sat down and watched this one. And it's
Right.
so cool bananas. There were lots of twists and turns, which
Right.
I fuck with pretty hard.
Absolutely. And like I didn't see myself being like a Saw fan at all because like originally I was never really into horror at all because I'm a giant baby. But like I saw the first one and I was like, I vibes with this. I
The
don't
first
know, it's
one was
got a
a
different.
banger.
Yeah, it's got a different level. I would say it's horror, but it's also like psychological. And then you've got the most complex, fucked up like villain that you could ever really run into in the world who thinks he's so sanctified about what he's doing.
Okay, that I just want to talk about that for a second
Yes.
because my thing is life is already fucking hard. Life's already fucking hard, and then
Right.
you got dudes dying from cancer deciding that you don't appreciate your life enough.
Right. It's like what good is putting a junkie in a reverse bear trap doing for society as a whole? Not a whole lot.
It's not doing anything for him either. Spoiler alert. It
Right.
doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. It never works. And it's just crazy to me. It's like the whole thing started just because it's like, I want people to appreciate what they have. And it's just like, well, you could do that without like putting them in life or death situations.
How about you start a support group?
Right. Support group. Donate some of this apparently billions of dollars you have to build these fucking contraptions to something like,
That's my thing because there's obviously we talked about this when we did Spiral.
yeah.
There's obviously a lot of money going into this. Okay, obviously you can't really play that off, but I feel like they kind of try to by
Right.
like, oh, you have it in all of these industrial settings. There's just shit just lying around. No, no, no,
No.
no.
Someone's paying to keep the electricity on in there. You need the tools. You need the space. You need the people, all that. Like, there's no way you're doing this for like $0.
No, there's no fucking way. So I'm like,
No,
where's the money coming from? Is that ever explained at any point?
no. It's one of the
No.
many things that they decide to just never talk about.
That's really interesting. Okay.
Mhm,
All right. So, okay, I have to say, I'm
mhm.
like a fantastical gore girl. I,
Yeah.
I enjoy that shit. But I
Mhm.
don't know if it's because I'm on my period or what. I'm extra sensitive, but that first trap had me so squirmy with the hooks. And I like
Yes. Mhm,
Hellraiser. They did
mhm.
also an Event Horizon, but I think it was this one.
It's the mouth one, yeah. I couldn't like no, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, this looks stupid. But then I saw how they were like all placed and then like the ring one in his mouth for sure. I was like, nope, no, 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 no.
Have the heebie-jeebies. Like my skin is literally still crawling right now.
I think for sure for this movie, especially with that first trap and the way they opened, like as it progresses, they've really upped the gore factor in this specific one to like a ridiculous level and the
It
disgusting factor.
was gratuitous.
So, I mean, the classroom trap is, I can't remember the guy's name, and I feel like I should have taken more notes because then whatever, but I can't remember the reason he's in there.
Man. But before that, they're showing the man, I think it was Eric, um,
Hmm.
like bashing his own foot with it. I just don't know that I could like amputate my own foot with a blunt object.
Oh, absolutely not. And the fact that he even did was just like,
And he tried to stand on it, and it was like, oh,
yeah, I'm like, oh no, 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 no.
leave me to
But
die. I'm good here.
yeah, so they open with that, and obviously that leaves you with the like, because answering some of the questions, but not enough of the questions in the beginning of like what happens to what's his name after he gets left in the room because Gordon's
Adam,
like,
right?
yeah, Adam, because like Gordon's gonna like come back for him, and he like literally never fucking does. So it's just like,
Yeah, and now we know that
no.
all that was super fucked, honestly.
Right.
Because it's bad enough. You've got John
Mm-hmm.
out here literally dying from a brain
Right.
tumor, spending
Mm-hmm.
all of this, all of the brain power that he has left to do this,
Right.
and he has
Because
a
that's his life's mission.
ew, like fuck off.
It's giving Manson vibes. It's giving, well, I didn't stab them. I just
He
told
said,
them.
"I'm not a murderer, and I despise
Mhm.
murders." Fuck you.
You're absolutely a murderer. Like,
You
absolutely.
like,
Oh, yeah. So let's see. Troy is just, oh, yeah. He's in and out of prison. So that's
oh
the
yeah,
only reason that he's a drug addict and has been in and out of prison and
and
is
he's like,
not.
"Oh, now this is your chance to free yourself from chains forever." Why do
Yeah.
you care if he's been in and out of jail?
That's
My
what I'm saying. It's like some of the reasons that like he has some of these people in the traps is just like hardly justified. So like poor Troy, he's in this room, he's chained to stuff, he doesn't know what's going on. You've got the nail bombs in the jars, like with the timers, the classic stuff that he likes to use. Like, why nails? I get it, but like
oh,
it's so much.
sorry, it like makes my butthole pucker. It reminds me of when I think of nails, though. I don't even automatically think of Saw. I think of Bride of Chucky when they get John Ritter in the face.
Yeah, I think of like the nail gun scene in one of the Final Destination movies too, where that's how that girl dies, like getting the
Mhm.
nail gun in the back of the head. But like you got the nail bombs, and so now you're like trying to make this man choose whether or not he wants to keep being in and out of jail by like pinning him to a floor and having him rip off pieces of his flesh to get out. And the fucked up thing about it is like when you really look at the trap, and like he was never getting out of that because how did you expect him to get this giant O-ring out of his goddamn jaw? Like,
No, there's no way, and that's why I mean that's one of the many reasons I feel like he can't sit here and say, "Oh, I'm not a murderer." I give them every no, no.
no, there was no opportunity there. There was not one, there was not enough time because you're battling pain and adrenaline can only cover up so much of you ripping at your fucking body to get out of something. And
Mine is broken.
yeah,
My adrenaline is broken. I would just be like, "Well,
that's me too. When he's like, make your choice, live or die. I'm like, you're putting people in extremely high stress situations and expecting them to make a rational decision. Like, I'm not, I'm laying down. Like, I'm not doing this.
right now I'm one of those freaky fainting goats. Like my
Right.
body will just, I will simply pass away, and then what?
Exactly.
And
That
then
made your choice for you. I'm laying down. I'm done. I'm
no,
not doing this. I'm not playing your stupid little game. But yeah,
I
we
mean, I
can
am ultra competitive, but that's not the kind of games I like to play.
exactly. But then I guess Troy gives her the opportunity to like introduce that like lady detective who's obsessed with like figuring out who Jigsaw is and all that, Miss Ma'am here. Yeah, who is victim of the angel trap later on, which is one of my favorite traps ever because of just it's fucked up but beautiful. Like, in its execution.
Okay,
But
okay, okay, I can see. All right, so like it's got the it's hooked
mhm,
into her rib cage.
yes.
And then meanwhile, she's got this lovely little like
Vat
thing
of acid. Yeah.
of acid and the key. They drop the key in there and they're like, hurry up, it's dissolving, gotta get it out.
Yeah.
You got a machine hooked into your first of all, you just got kidnapped from your apartment after seeing yourself on candid
TV.
camera.
Yeah.
And this is hooked into your shit, and now
Mhm.
you have to stick your hand in a vat of acid, get the key out, and then untie yourself.
She was a fucking boss, though. She did. She was like, I'm not dying like this. Like, son of a bitch. No, but it didn't quite work out. And we'll get to those reasons like later. But like, yeah, that's one of my traps is like I like it just because it's one of the few traps where there's like some artistry sort of built into it. You know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah,
like it's an angel trap and like you get that. But so you get introduced to her, but then now we get into sort of like the whole crux of the movie is
yeah,
based on Jeff and Jeff's wife
right.
and every Jeff's trial to like heal or whatever the fuck John Kramer's
For
trying to get him to do.
forgiveness.
Yeah, for forgiveness. So this man wakes up in a box.
Yeah,
Like,
okay. So one thing that I like about these movies is that there's all these like little like they're showing you these things in action and
yeah,
then you have like the main story
right, yeah.
and things like running around outside of it. It's
There's always like a little bit going on everywhere else, but then you've got your main thing to come back to. It's all
yeah,
sort of
the meat
fine.
and potatoes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's just crazy to me because, like, one, what drugs are you using to get these people to be unconscious for this long
crap.
and like
Oh,
not
I
know
know.
what's going on? And then two, they wake up pretty quick from it. Like, I've had surgery a few times. Anesthesia ain't easy to just be kicking. So, like, what are you using? So you got Jeff, who's what wife is currently they're separated, they're not together, whatever. She's having an affair, but I wouldn't call it an affair because clearly they're not like
They don't like each other.
they don't like each other, they're not with each other, they're not dealing with each other. Their son died in a car accident, was hit by a car while riding his bike. So
It's
Jeff's
so sad.
it is really sad, but Jeff's just pissed and can't get over the grief. He's got basically a shrine to his kid in the house and like
Yeah,
can't move on.
it's a damn VC Andrews novel.
Oh, definitely. Like, we're not letting go. Like,
Tyler, don't play with your dead brother's toys.
right. Don't touch him. Oh, yeah. I forgot there's like another kid in like that
Yeah, there's another kid.
who's got to deal with dad who can't get his shit together. Like,
Wow, he like almost gave her shaken baby syndrome.
right. Like, don't touch his stuff. We told you not to touch stuff. Like, it's crazy. But
Horrific,
either
man.
way, we open him waking up in the box. The box is like lifted, like tipping. Like, that's just insult to injury. You got me locked in this box, and then it's also on a fucking forklift in the air.
Dude, that's torture enough. That just being in a
Right?
fucking box.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's claustrophobic. Jeff's not a small dude. And then now he's got to fall like all this way because he doesn't know where he is and doesn't realize that nobody put the forklift on the fucking ground. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't just do that.
Prove the forklift. Amanda.
Probably it was probably Amanda. She's like,
She's a shitty forklift driver on top of
yeah, that is not forklift
everything.
certification certified,
No,
lady. You're
bitch.
supposed to put those down on the ground before you leave.
Right.
I know the rules.
While Jeff
Hmm.
is going through the Jeff trials,
Right.
Dr. Lynn.
Who I would do in a heartbeat. I love
Oh,
her.
she's so pretty.
She's so pretty. So pretty. Oh my God. But
Okay.
yes, Dr. Lynn is the one having the affair, and she wakes up kidnapped, and is tasked with keeping John Kramer alive long enough for this person to finish the trial, whom she does not know is her husband and has no idea. But you're forcing this doctor to be a doctor in the worst fucking conditions that she possibly could be.
Literally the worst conditions. Didn't they say his name though in front of her at any point? I feel.
No, they didn't want her to know who was in the trap, just that she needed to keep him alive long enough for it to be the end of it, because it was all really a setup for Amanda at the end, which is
Right.
whole complicated. Yeah. But so she's got this fucking shotgun collar,
Hate it.
which is anxiety inducing.
Like,
Especially when Amanda starts like cocking like the little things to like set the trap. So like once she's in there, I'm like, my butthole is clenched. Like, I don't want this thing around my neck.
oh, you couldn't ask me to do basic fucking math with a shotgun collar on, let
Right,
alone.
but you wanted to do surgery and all this shit.
John, I keep wanting to call him John Connor. Not
Right. I just go with Kramer, so then that way I don't forget.
Kramer,
Yeah.
freaking old asshole. Like,
Mhm.
take your L and go. You
Right,
have
just die. Like, why are you still doing this? It's unfortunate and dumb and really stupid. And it's like, clearly you're on your way out. Maybe just say peace and like let it go. I don't know.
Noodles McGoodles. If anyone doesn't appreciate their life, it's him.
Exactly. Like, you drove your wife away. This is all you do. You claim you're not a murderer, but
This
we
is
both
your
know better.
Your only hobby.
It's your only hobby. You keep recruiting people to help you, and I strongly feel as though you groomed Amanda from the start. Like she was pretty fucked up, but like you made it worse.
And then he has the audacity to be like, "You're a piece of shit," and I was testing.
Yeah. Because rigging the traps is against his rules. They're always supposed to have a way out. It's not supposed to be murder. It's supposed to be a choice. It's not really though, because if you put them in this situation expecting them to be able to figure it out, but like what happens when you're saying when they die, that has nothing to do with you?
No, that's wrong. Before we pop off about Amanda, let's talk
Mhm.
about Jeff's trial
Yeah.
because these were exceptionally fucked.
Yeah, they really were, honestly. And then so what the first trial that he had to go through, I believe, was the freezer room, which is one of my favorite traps.
It's hard
And
to watch.
it was hard to watch, and the execution of it was just amazing. And like watching the behind the scenes and like the practical effects on how they did all
Ooh.
that, because everything in Saw is practical effects.
Mm.
All of the traps are functional. They're all, yeah, they won't hurt anybody, but they are functional. The actors volunteer to get into these things knowing that
They
they
have
do
to.
move and do work. But you
They
know,
have to sign waivers.
I don't know. They never bring those up in the behind the scenes, but I'm assuming that they do. But everything is practical, which is why that also like lends me to liking the movie, because there's real thought behind this.
I
Like they're
love that.
holding all these things to like actually work and like move and like make sense in a way, even though they don't. But that freaks me out because as an actor, I'm like, you're not putting that shit on my head. I'm sorry. Like,
Hello, when Lynn's playing around, she's poking around
mhm,
and stuff, and that
mhm.
fucking mannequin head. Oh, I would have pissed myself.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. But yeah, so like the freezer room, it's the lady who
Was a
what
witness.
witness to the
Mhm.
accident that killed his son. She is
Yeah.
hanging in a
Naked.
hanging naked in a freezer, chained by her arms. And Jeff doesn't really know what the situation is at first, but I think she's got like the little tape thing like around her neck because that's how he does everything. So he listens to it, and it's more about whether or not he'll show mercy, because clearly he just wants vengeance for whatever happened to his son. And because she chose not to be involved or testify, she's somehow involved at this point.
Yeah.
So the key to the trap is behind a grate behind the lady, and every so often she's getting sprayed with like ice cold fucking water
Yeah,
while
so
she's
she's
hanging there.
freezing, literally freezing solid. I feel
Mhm.
like it's hard to watch because I can feel the cold.
Oh yeah, it feels horrible. Like to me when I watch it, I start shivering. I'm like, get help her! Like, oh my
But
god.
I totally
Mhm.
understand how it could take him a moment. Maybe I
Mhm.
feel like, I would have saved the bitch regardless. She
Right.
was a
Yeah.
witness. It's
Nobody deserves that kind of torture for not saying anything about what happened
no.
to your kid. I get being upset and angry, but and the thing about the ice trap is like she's begging. She's like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. Like, please just help me. Like, she's
At first,
dying.
she's not begging. She's like,
At
I didn't
first.
do anything to you. And I'm like, girl, that wouldn't have been my first
I
response.
would have started begging immediately. Like, get me the fuck
Please,
out of
don't
here.
stop.
I'm so
Please.
sorry. But like the water starts slow, but then it progressively gets faster and faster. And like Jeff takes his fucking time making a decision as she is literally being frozen to death. But he eventually gets the key, but not without losing part of his cheek because the bars are fucking frozen and he's got to get in there. But by the
And
time he gets back to get to her, the lock is frozen solid and she's dead. But he's still trying to unlock her.
I know. I think it was just like an adrenaline response. Like he really did need to save her, but the water was just, it just
Too
froze
fast.
us. And then he touches her and she cracks. And I'm like, don't touch
Yeah, no, that was amazing when he touches her and then she
her.
cracks. I'm like, oh my god, this poor woman did not deserve to die this way. It's a really cool trap and effect though, but like, oh my god, dude, if you had just moved just a little bit faster, just a teensy bit.
bit. So then he has to, I mean, like, he has to carry the trauma of that and the weight of his like indecision into the next trap.
Right, which I think is some of John's point is that he's unable to just let some shit go. But
Yeah, for sure. But like, this is an extreme way to try and
one thing to not let go the fact that she didn't testify. It's a whole other thing to not be able to let go that you just watched this woman die in front of you because you couldn't make a decision fast enough. Like,
time in therapy.
right, that's complex PTSD for the rest of your life. Like,
The next trap,
yeah,
literally, I was
made me
gagging.
throw up. I was gagging the whole time I saw that the first time.
I
It was
felt like I could
disgusting.
smell that
I
scene.
feel like the pig vat is like the pinnacle, the absolute pinnacle of Saw movie traps. Like it is so fucking disgusting, but so
Wow.
well executed that it's just
Hot.
like it's vile. And it's like it starts. So he gets there, and the guy who's stuck in the pig vat is the judge from the trial, who didn't convict
You
or
gave him 6 months.
he gave him 6 months, the guy who killed the son. So it is up to Jeff to either save him or let him drown in pig guts and
Oh, okay, but let's talk about that in detail.
oh yes. So the trap is this. There's a giant vat in the middle of the room. The judge, is
On his
lying on his back. He is chained by his neck to the floor. Um,
oh,
Steph listens to the whole tape, liver, like, make your choice, help him, save him. And the only way to save the judge is by burning his dead son's things.
yeah,
To get
which he needs to do. He really needs to do.
yeah. So he needs to do that to get the key to get the judge out, but he obviously isn't like right away making that decision. So the way the trap is set is that it's basically an old butcher shop kind of thing or whatever. It used to be garbage disposal.
Like,
I don't know. But there are pigs on a rack coming around and around down into these like giant saws that will fill the vat where the judge is with like just ground up pig guts and putrid nastiness.
already look like they're rotting pigs. They
Yeah,
don't.
at first they're fresh and then they start getting worse. Yeah,
Ah.
like they start getting worse. And so there's one every few seconds and then there becomes more and more and more. And like you only got so much room until this man can't breathe or anything.
Ah.
But
Ah.
it's just every time you hear one of those pigs get trapped in there and ground up, and this man is just like, oh my god, it's just like,
Literally,
so
literally my stomach hurts so bad
yeah,
about it because like this man's mouth was open and it's like
yeah.
projectile shooting food, and then like sucks for Jeff because not only does he have to get the key out, he got to get down in there and unlock him manually.
Exactly. You got to get in there and like the smell alone. Like I felt like I could smell the scene and that was just like I need to look away. Like and I know Jeff could smell this shit and the man who's down in there, I don't know how he didn't just aspirate and die on his own vomit from how fucking disgusting it was.
I'm saying, and like after he frees him, this man like does a little puke, but like I would
Not
have.
enough. I would have voided my entire existence out of my
All
mouth.
my insides would have been on the outside, like bones,
Yeah, all of it.
organs, all of
Bones
it.
and all.
I would have my whole soul up. It's
Yeah,
so
he does manage to save him finally. Like it was like in the nick of time, really, by burning his son's stuff and getting the key, which clearly he needed to do. That's part of letting go, is not holding on to all the stuff. But like he saved the judge, yay, redemption for not saving the freezing lady in the beginning. But at the same time, like
awful. But then like you see the judge and he looks like he had like a little shower or something.
yeah,
Not
like
he
he
should.
looks clean afterwards. I don't get that. I feel like he should have just been left covered in like pig guts. I don't know why. Maybe he like the actor was like, I'm not doing that, but I feel like it just adds to the
But you
continuity.
laid down in it.
Right, exactly. So you should be disgusting right now.
Yeah.
But maybe they found like a dirty towel somewhere in this warehouse and he just like wiped off real quick.
All right, that sounds canon.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So
And
the
so
next is
yeah.
yours, right? This guy.
Yes, is mine, the rack, which is my favorite trap. I know I keep saying that, but this trap was the first time when I was watching this movie where I was like, I cannot fucking look. I can't
I
look. I
couldn't look
can't look. I
either.
can't look. Like it keeps getting worse.
I
It keeps
literally,
getting worse.
I couldn't.
So Jeff and the judge, because now he has the judge that he saved, so now the judge is inevitably stuck in this fucking situation too. So they come to the next room. The man in the wreck is, I can't remember his name, but is the one who killed his son on accident. It was an
A young
accident.
medical student.
A medical student, which is why he only got 6 months, and the judge was going light on him. He didn't have any previous offenses. It was an accident, those types of things. So he's in the rack, and the rack is the way it operates. It's kind of like a crucifix. Like, do you want to think about like Jesus on the cross? Kind of, he's nailed into there, and his feet are separate. So he's actually more like that Da Vinci thing, with like the study of man spread
Yeah.
out. So he's got the little turn part around his head. He's got his limbs out, which also have turn pieces on them. His legs also have turn pieces on them as well. And it's all operated mechanically by like mechanisms that just turn every so often, not all at the same time. It starts with one limb at a time.
My
You
bone.
know, it's pretty bad. The head is last because obviously that's what's going to murder him. But I feel like any amount of that much trauma to any bone would have killed me immediately.
Yeah.
So the key is in a box, I believe, that has like a shotgun in front of it, and it's rigged. So like if he pulls it, it's gonna shoot him. So he's like, are you willing to endanger like yourself to like save this man who you
Take a
don't
bullet.
even like?
Why should he have to take a
Right?
bullet for this guy? Why should he have to? That's stupid.
Right, exactly. And I don't get it either. It's just like, yeah, he's mad because he killed his son, but I'm sure the man apologized. I'm sure he did his time. You know, he never said he didn't do it. He never tried to get away with it, all that stuff. But Jeff, you know, takes this time to just start yelling and screaming and like cussing, like just not helping this man. And then the machine kicks on, and that's when the fucking party starts. Because when you add in when the machine kicks on and how they chose to do the cinematography in this scene, it is just like butt clenching like the whole time.
Yeah, my butthole was like,
Yep. And so, like, the idea is he has to get the key from the shotgun box, but obviously he has to make the decision whether or not he cares enough to save this man. So it starts rotating what I believe maybe an arm or a leg first or whatever, but then that's how you really see how the trap works. Is it will keep spinning until it's basically wringing this man out like a wet fucking towel.
oh my God.
Yeah, it just keeps going and going. And so he's screaming, obviously, in pure pain. I don't know how he didn't just black out because I would have blacked out.
I was
Like from the
passed out
first,
getting the tattoo on my back.
exactly. Like from the first snap of bone, I'm out. Like,
Then,
sorry. So it just keeps on doing that. And eventually it gets to the head. And like that's when Jeff finally decides he's going to try to save him, but he can't find where the key goes to stop the machine. But
yeah.
what's fucked up is when he tries to save Timothy, or yeah, his name's Timothy, I believe.
Timothy.
It's too late. The head's already turning, but he manages to kill the judge in the process of trying to get the key to save the guy in the wreck. So it's like he saved the judge for no reason because he just got shotgun blasted to the fucking face. Like,
Rip. Sorry about that, dog.
yep. Like, and it's just like, oopsies. But when he finally does try to save him, he can't find where the key goes, which leads me to believe that that was another rig trap that John didn't know about, because like where was he supposed to stop the thing from happening?
Yeah.
But I think the pinnacle is definitely the end of the trap when it's like you can see he's trying to save him and you can hear the clicking of this man's head just still going
Oh,
round after the scream stop. It's
yeah,
just
the
like
neck sinews. The heartbreaking that he's like on top of this man yelling,
yeah.
I forgive him, like
Yeah,
stop.
he's hugging him. I forgive him. I'm sorry. Just stop. And like this machine is still turning, even though this man is just dead. Like, how do you sit with that? Like, you're like, oh, he'll be fine. That man is never going to be fine again a day in his life if he makes it out
No,
of here.
no. And then a lot more shit manages to go wrong, like
Yeah.
in the ending of this movie.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
so like this whole forgiveness thing, this is what pisses me off, okay?
Mhm.
John Kramer sets this whole thing up, right? To be like,
Right,
oh, that he's Jeff's final test in forgiveness, but here's why that doesn't make any fucking sense.
right.
He's had time to sit with the
What
murder.
he's done. Yeah. Mhm.
This shit with John just fucking happened. Like he
You expect
just
him to forgive immediately? No, he's mad as
no,
fuck.
that's not right. That is not
No, it's
right.
not. And
Like
then to put his wife's life in the mix of it when she had nothing to do with any of it is just like incredibly unfair.
right.
Like, so her life is dependent upon whether or not her husband is a piece of shit, which he is, by the way. I fucking hate Jeff. I have never liked Jeff. Jeff is the goddamn worst. But like,
There
he
you
is
go. You're
so
just
awful, one as a character and two just as a person. Like, it's just like there's not a redeeming quality about this man throughout the entire movie.
yeah,
I
you
mean,
know,
I think they try to get you when he's like, well, I forgive you, but it's like after he's already dead. And it's the same with the lady in the freezer. Like you just like I get that, but like are you like are you really that sorry, or are you just sorry that they died in front of you,
that,
you know?
and
Mhm.
that's all it is. Because if they were like less severe circumstances, you'd be like, no,
Mhm. You're
I'm
like, fuck you, I don't care. But this is an extreme circumstance, you know, so there's
yeah,
that. But yeah, so you got the rack, which is I think great, and also another practical trap that actually does function, but it doesn't like obviously they have to like CG or do whatever they do for the other part of it. Which I don't know if it's CG or if they just put like, you know, like a puppet or some shit in there, but that's like it does definitely turn, and I'm like, you can't pay me enough to do that.
oh, couldn't pay me enough to strap me in there.
Nope.
Well, it's not going to twist your bones. Fuck you.
No, yeah, no, I don't trust you. Did you test it? Like, are you
Yeah,
100%
that's
sure?
in there.
And then so yeah, like once he doesn't do that, we get yeah, you know, Jeff's final test, and like he finds out that his wife has been like having an affair. I think he finds like a gun in the box on
Yeah.
the way there. The gun, I'm pretty sure, only has like one bullet in it. He doesn't know what it's for. He hasn't managed to save any of the people. I mean, technically he saved the judge, but the judge just was standing in a bad spot like
Yeah.
in the rack room,
Collateral
unfortunately.
damage.
Collateral damage, yeah. So you get there and they kind of cut away from Jeff's final test because now it's back to trying to save John and then proving to Amanda that this didn't have anything to do with these two more than it had something to do with her. So then we're left with Jeff slowly making his way to the room, and I like how they cut this scene because like he's moving slow, he's dealing with all the shit he just saw, and John's doing his famous "it's time to monologue" shit
Crazy to me because the man is literally missing a chunk of his fucking skull.
and dying, and he still has time for a fucking soliloquy. Like, come on.
Well,
Like, it's fine. So you find out that the whole purpose of this, which is stupid and unfortunate, obviously he wanted to test Jeff and his wife and all that stuff, but like the ultimate test was Amanda, because Amanda has been lying and breaking the rules by rigging traps. So when you come to find out that the cop who ended up in the angel trap, Amanda rigged it. She was never meant to get out of it. So the key didn't fit the lock. That cop was going to die, and that was against the rules. That's against John's like moral superiority of people need moral superiority of people need to be able to make a choice. And she's been known to rig other traps. I can't remember in this movie or if I'm giving away a spoiler, but the first movie, she had something to do with Adam not being able to get out as well.
she literally went back in and suffocated him.
Yes, but he was supposed to be able to get the key from the
Yeah.
bathtub because it was
Oh,
supposed to be attached to him. But instead of attaching it to him, she just threw it in there.
she
So
threw it
when,
on his chest.
yeah, so when the water drained, the key went down the drain. So that was his only way out of the situation. And she just said, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. But then later, out of what she calls mercy, went back and just suffocated him.
That's not mercy. Mercy would be like, hey, my bad. I'm gonna let you out.
Right. No, she just goes back and kills him. So when John finds out that she's been like rigging traps, which is also how we go back to the trap in the beginning of the movie, she rigged the trap for Trevor, or whatever his name is, in the chain room, because again, with the one in his mouth, he was never going to get out of there. And Amanda knew that because she also bolted the fucking door closed, like welded it closed. He was not getting out of that room.
Quick question.
Yeah.
They're meant for each other, these two, because why the fuck did she deserve to get out, but nobody else is worthy of getting out?
That is, and it's like, yeah, you survived your trap, and then now you're literally just playing God, but you're not giving people a choice. You're just a serial killer now.
I wonder if it's because she wants John all to herself,
It
and
might
she's
be.
like, oh, if anyone makes it out alive, then like he's gonna adopt them like
I
a puppy too.
Yeah, I think her thing is when she's like yelling back at him about it is like she doesn't think that people can truly be redeemed and that people don't really change or whatever the case may be. So she's like, why give them a choice? We could just fix the world by like killing them. And
That's
like,
obviously self-hatred. That's an issue she has with herself because
yeah,
bitch.
because she's still a cutter.
Yeah.
She was a junkie. I don't know if she or a drug addict, and I don't know if she's still doing drugs at that point with John, because I think she's been clean at least from that, but she's still self-harming. John's dying. She's losing like the one thing that she's had to focus on this entire time.
Will fucking die, whether they change or not. Everyone's gonna die. So like,
Exactly. But it's crazy because you put these two people through this incredibly long trial because it was also a test for her to see if she could, maintain her composure and not like rig stuff her way or whatever the case may be. But obviously she fails at that. But she ends up dying too because Jeff, not capable of seeing the situation for what it was, he comes in, he sees his wife with this collar around his neck, which is rigged to explode if John flatlines. So
but like he's gone through this whole thing. I get him like wanting to like Macho Man Randy
yeah,
Savage.
I get him shooting Amanda in the neck almost immediately because like fuck her. But it's just like John explains like your wife's life is dependent on whether or not you kill me, but he doesn't explain how.
Listening.
Yeah, but he doesn't explain how. He doesn't, but yeah, obviously Jeff's not fucking listening. He's like, what the fuck is going on?
Have you seen Labyrinth? The
Yes.
Jim Henson movie. Okay, this is a classic case of Sarah not asking any goddamn questions
Right.
ever.
You should have asked some questions before you just sawed the man into pieces because once he flatlines, his wife is like, fuck. Like, because she doesn't know where the key is, she can't get it
And
off.
she's like, no, don't do. And he's just
Don't
like,
do it. And he just doesn't listen. And so she gets her face blown to smithereens. And now this man is like crying and weeping because now his wife is dead because you didn't fucking listen.
and not only that, not only is his wife dead, his baby, his last living child, is
Is
somewhere no
hidden
one knows
somewhere.
where.
Exactly. No one knows where. His last
No.
living child is locked in a room somewhere who will eventually run out of air and die. And
Oh yeah, because there's limited air.
what the fuck? And so like that's what makes me hate it because Jeff does get to survive the situation, but like I feel like
Oh yeah. Oh.
he learned exactly. No, fuck Jeff. He learned absolutely nothing from it. Your wife died because of you. All these people died, and like not necessarily because of you. It's also John's fault because he put everybody in this fucking situation. Amanda was a menace and was only going to get worse. I don't think her living would have made anything better.
Psychopath.
Yes, she devolved. Like at first she believed in his mission, and then I think she just got a kick out of fucking killing people. Like she
Yeah, that's
got
bad.
rid of the heroin and traded it for murder.
Right. If you have an addictive personality, you really need to get some kind of assistance with that. So you don't just swap one thing for another.
And that's how I feel about John. I was like, did you ever think about like therapy or like a fucking journal before
No,
you started doing this?
no. He's so good for therapy. Catch a man like John in therapy.
Right,
He
but like maybe
literally
write
was
it down. Maybe like write it out. Like maybe don't
journal.
start building traps and like murdering
Do
people.
some shadow work. Get yourself a little journal
Yeah.
and draw the traps in the notebook.
But don't put people in it.
No,
Don't
yeah,
do it for real.
no.
Like I have fantasies about choking people out every once in a while, but do I do it? No, because that's crazy.
Important part is that you
Right.
can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so like Amanda dies, you learn she's been bringing stuff, and like Adam was supposed to survive the whole time, and she fucked that up. And then the angel trap was mostly just because that lady was after John and was getting real close because that detective was very clever and very fucking smart and needed to be taken out of the equation and whatever means necessary.
Which makes me tired.
No, but she's gone now, so you don't have to deal with that.
Toodaloo.
Right. Toodaloo, bitch. Like you have clearly lost the plot entirely, and John dies. So then that's pretty much the end of that. But now Jeff's stuck in this warehouse. He doesn't know where he is. His kid's
Oh
missing.
well.
Dead.
I mean, I don't know what happens next. I hope he finds his kid, but like, fuck Jeff, and also
Yeah.
John,
Yeah.
fuck Amanda
Yep.
too.
Fuck all of them.
Moral of the story is ask questions.
Yeah,
And
that's what I took away from this one too. It's like if he had just listened or asked or tried to understand what was happening, because it's like you see your wife, you see you've just been through all these crazy convoluted ass traps, and you see she's got something crazy going on like on her body. Maybe
that's
ask
not
what
true,
that's
of
about.
course.
Like maybe ask what that's connected to before you get a
Yeah,
saw blade and just murder the only thing keeping her alive. Which she was trying to explain, but you wouldn't fucking listen. So, you know,
never.
that's the problem. Men not listening. A man has never asked an important question in his entire life and chooses this moment to not even try. Like,
Quite literally.
exactly. But
Okay.
overall, this is one of my favorite movies just because there's so much going on. But like at the heart of it, it's all about like people doing wrong because they can't let go of shit. And then like Amanda also doing wrong because she can't let go of shit or whatever her problem ends up being. She doesn't really get into the deep reasons why she keeps fucking up traps and stuff other than just
No, but we can assume. I think
yeah, we can
safe.
assume that
Yeah.
like she's just got her issues and she didn't want to lose John or she just wanted to be the best or maybe she thought she was taking over for him. But
Probably a little bit of all of the above. So,
mm,
I mean, the second moral of the story is go to therapy.
yes, go to therapy because this is insane. This is insane behavior.
Absolutely, this is not the way we want to go.
No, absolutely not. But I did love this one just because it maxed out the just like you have to look away factor so much in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. I enjoyed it too. I thought that same thing. Because for there to be so many parts where I was like, I literally can't look at the screen right now and like I feel like it's vibrating in my bones. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it was great. I loved it. And like I didn't get to see this one in theaters. I ended up watching it at home and that was a mistake because I watched it at home at night by myself and I was just like, when is a pig mask motherfucker coming to get me? Like please
Yeah.
don't.
This is a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, definitely. But I love this one. Obviously, Saw. I know too much about Saw. It's probably an unhealthy amount,
Yep,
but
that's why we're doing a whole month. It comes in handy.
fair.
Can find this podcast on the interwebs at ghostthemagazine.site or on Twitter at GITM Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at WitchXPudding.
You can find me on Twitter at Sadee B.
Okay, bye.